This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hey Austin,
What's up,
how are
man?
you?
Yeah, nice to meet you, dude.
Nice to meet you too.
Very, I'm doing very well. A little tired, as you can probably tell, but I'm really good, man. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, by the way, the show was awesome.
Thank you.
And the interview before this one, I assume, was awesome as well.
Yeah, it was really good. They're lovely dudes, and they're over there somewhere, hiding in the bushes.
Exactly.
But, yeah. No, it was really good fun.
Good. So, Austin, you've been in the music business now for over a decade, with As Lions for since 2015, and before that you were the vocalist for Rise to Remain.
Yes.
Since 2006, so over a decade.
Absolutely. It's so creepy.
Good that you say that.
It's cool, but like, I mean, when did I join Rise? I must have been like 16 when I joined, and I just turned 27. So it's crazy to think that it's been 10 years. It doesn't feel like it, but you know, 10 years well spent, I think. I had good fun.
I'm happy to hear that. So over 10 years, where do you see the main differences about being a musician or being in the music business between today and when you started out over 10 years ago?
I mean, to be honest, like, I'd say that, like, you know, the sort of scope of what you can do has changed. I think that now you've got a lot more control. I think before, like, you know, with things like MySpace and with social media, there was always a limit to what you could get done. It was still sort of maintained by a lot of labels. A lot of labels really put their foot into MySpace, whereas that's not quite the case with you know, like Facebook and stuff like that. That's kind of more off your own back, and you can spread the word of your band through sort of word of mouth easier now. I think that's cool. I also think that audiences are a lot, you know, they're a lot smarter. They're a lot more clued up with how to get what they want or how to find new things, and that's great. You know, that I found so many. I've probably got more bands on my iPod now than I ever have, just purely because I've been able to find them. I've been able to go out and look for them, and as a result, I'm like, you know, I'm kind of like suckered to my iPod constantly, listening to new stuff, which is good, but you know, you should probably take a day off at some point.
Sure.
Yeah.
So social media is a bit more structured, let's say, today compared to the MySpace days.
Compared to the Wild West of MySpace.
Exactly. For you as a band, how do you help people who don't know about you find your music, to do something?
To be honest, I think that we tend to just sort of really try to tend our patch, like, you know, like our following, and you know, a lot of the bands that we tour with, we tend to just sort of, you know, I don't know, tag them up and, you know, sort of make sure that we pay our dues and thank them and stuff like that, and really put it out there how stoked we are to be on the tour. Number one, because it's true, and number one, it just, you know, if someone's on their page and they bought a ticket to their show and they go, oh, I wonder who that opening band was or whatever, they can find us. But you know, I think that we tend to sort of just do it the good old honest way and just really maintain our fan base, and you know, and it's growing every single day. It's crazy. Like this, we've been doing this since 2015. It's 2017, so like, you know, 2 years, and we've just come off of pretty much 6 months in America. Like, we saw the single go to like number 11 in the charts, and it's been a mad couple of years, man. And that is totally down to them. That's totally down to the fan base. That is, you know, we write the songs, we play the songs, but all of our success, all of everything is entirely down to them. You know, they're the boss. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, we love them.
Definitely. You just mentioned your single is in the charts. What is still in the charts, I suppose?
No, we finished the campaign, but it was earlier this year. It got to, like, I think it was number 11 in the active rock and Billboard mainstream rock charts in America, which is cool. So, you know, thank you to everyone that listened to that. That was pretty cool, guys. Like, never expected to have a song anywhere near a chart. You know, it's not really something you can kind of put your money on and go, I bet that's going to happen. It's just not in this lifetime. So that's pretty cool.
Some schools of thought say that being in the chart is, or in some kind of charts, is not as relevant anymore.
Absolutely. No, I would agree with that. I would.
Okay.
I think that, you know, the way that a lot of people analyze consumer data is quite old. I think that they still tend to go, you know, streaming, for example, isn't sort of taken into account nearly as much as it should be. Or things like YouTube. You know, YouTube, which, firstly, really kind of, can I say the F word?
You can.
Cool, I say it a lot, yeah. It really fucks artists because it doesn't, you know, if somebody uploads your songs, your entire album, you know, the number one way people find bands is pretty much through YouTube. You know, they Google and then they go through the they YouTube it and they go through the drop bar and they find it, and maybe they get an entire playlist of that whole band's history, and a fan's uploaded it, and then when they go through it, there's no, that data isn't recorded at all by people that decide charts or people that decide, you know, sort of sales thresholds. Obviously, it's not a sale, but you know, it's an interesting sort of grey area, and it does bring the charts into question because you go, how, you know, some bands have been nowhere near a chart ever, but they have 3 million views on YouTube, and you go, how does that work? You know, and some bands are number one on a chart and have 75,000 views on their video. And so, you know, I think that as far as the sort of validity of charts, you know, there's just more to bring in. I think that it needs to sort of stop doing things the old way and sort of consider all of the new the new technology. And also at the same time, companies like YouTube need to make their analyzed data free to labels and need to say, hey guys, you got, you know, 50,000 plays on this, it was uploaded by this person, here you go. You know, they need to sort of share that data with people to make it just more wholesome, I think. That was a very long conversation. It's very one-sided as well. I'm so sorry.
But it was very interesting. That's
Yeah.
why we asked that question. Interesting. So you mentioned that maybe some companies, whoever decides on the charts whatsoever, should be more modern. On the other hand, I bought your the Selfish Age, your brand new album.
Thank you.
I bought it on vinyl.
Oh,
Very
dude,
old school,
awesome.
and I don't consider myself to be very old.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
Yeah.
you also produce what can be considered old school formats, like vinyl.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I think that vinyl sort of comes back into it because now with all of the sort of the connectivity that you can have to a band or to an artist, or that, you know, I can have to one of my favorite bands or whatever, you know, I can get so close to them. I can know what they're up to every day. They can update their socials and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. But it still doesn't trump having the physical copy of the recorded material. You know, I think that is something. The reason vinyl and stuff like that has come back, I think it's down to a lot of the sort of reaction to like compression and audio and MP3s and stuff like that. A lot of people kind of flipped the table and went, "What the fuck? God damn it! Bring back vinyl!" Because vinyl sounds great. It sounds amazing. It sounds like the band is fully realized. You know, so there was that, and I think that also vinyl allows, you know, anyone who really loves the band or loves the album, it allows them the opportunity to have it in its sort of most true, realized form, with the entire spread, with a big fucking record, you know, something that sounds like it's supposed to sound, full artwork, everything that, you know, everything that sort of social media and all the other things kind of fail to give you, you know, the real action, it's in your hands. You know, I think that's really cool. Like, I've started buying a lot more vinyl as well. It really does sort of make, I don't know, it kind of feels like a bit of a full circle. You know, once you've listened to it X amount of times on your iPod, you kind of want to have it. You kind of want to be like, yes, this is it. You know, so I don't know, that's my reasoning anyway.
For you as a new band, basically, As Lions is a new band.
Absolutely, yeah.
First record out. What are the main challenges for a new band to start just building their career?
I think it's, you know, it's all the obvious things. You know, it's touring. It's making sure that, you know, there's enough sort of in the tank, you know, the band to really propulse it forward. I think it's also kind of just, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of scenes, I was saying this before, but like a lot of there's a lot of sort of cliquey scenes that happen, especially within rock and metal sometimes. There's this, like, there'll be a quick movement and then it will just not cease to exist, but it will kind of get less popular. I think that can lead a lot of bands to sort of sound exactly the same, apart from like the two big bands that define the sound, and everyone else kind of goes and just disappears, and that sucks, So we didn't deliberately avoid that, but we also didn't sort of pursue it. I think that for us, we just tried to sort of write good songs, write good rock songs that were truthful to us, that reflected who we were and what we liked. I think that there's also contrary to what I said, I think there's a ton of bands doing that now, and that's great because they all sound like them, and that is so cool. That's the way it should be. I think a band should, whether you love it or hate it, you should know it's them. And there's a lot of bands doing that, and I think that is sort of the challenge for us, is to just be true to ourselves, and that's the thing that we put first and foremost. So we're doing that.
Cool, very cool. Your sound, or you as a band, you sound modern. However, you have influences from, let's call them older, more established bands, let's say. In recent years, lots of our forefathers of rock and roll died or have been dying away.
Yeah.
What is your take on that? Do you think that we are losing, or rock and roll or heavy metal is losing some kind of identity?
No, I think that rock and roll, metal, hardcore, these are all genres that, although the artists, kind of defined it, it's the fans that keep it going. The fans are the blood, they're the life. They keep the culture that surrounds rock and roll fans is the most fundamentally important thing to rock and roll. And I think that allows it to have an identity constantly. It's not just the music, it's everything. It's the it's when I go to a rock and roll show, I don't get into a fight. There's people there going, hey, how's it going? Yeah, that's great. That's the way it should be. And I think that it sucks that so many people died. Chester Bennington is honestly always has been one of my heroes. He's one of the reasons I'm in a band. Like, without Linkin Park, I don't know if I'd be doing this. I always thought it was completely insane to want to become a singer anyway. But I still don't know if I would really be doing this. And Bowie as well, but at the same time they've left such a legacy. So we've got that to kind of appreciate, and that to continue to uphold as like the pinnacle of a time, and go, yes, that was then, and it still is just as important. So yeah.
Beautifully said. Austin, thank you so much.
Dude,
all
no
the
worries.
best with the new record and the band and the tour.
Thank you very much, man.
Soon again.
Oh yeah, cheers guys.